South African-based Malawian pastor and politician, Pastor Hastings Salanje, has been freed by gunmen almost 2 weeks after he was kidnapped at his church. I do add, and politician, because he is also known as a politician. I think he likes that title to be given to him because he has declared that he will be the president of Malawi by 2030. I don't know why, but in Malawi, he's not known as a politician at all. He's just known as a pastor of a church in South Africa. His ministry, God's Chapel, which is his church, has confirmed the development through a press statement posted on Salanje's Facebook, saying he was released last night and dropped near a shopping center.
To confirm that I was recently kidnapped on the 26th of November 2003 at 6 p.m. South African time. The people came while we had a meeting at our church offices and started shooting, asking me to follow them. In order to avoid bloodshed, I calmly followed them and entered into their car. While on the way with them is when I then discovered that they were kidnappers. And upon arrival at the place, they started demanding amount of 20 million rands, which is 2 billion kwacha, as a ransom for my release. Due to financial difficulties, at the moment, we were not able to raise such an amount of money, and hence they had me for 2 weeks. After negotiations, we managed to raise a large amount of money, which we cannot disclose for security reasons. And I was released last night at around 11 p.m. During the 2 weeks, I was kept handcuffed, masked, and I could not eat, only drinking water until last night after I was released. I have got some wounds, which I can show you right now to show you that I was handcuffed. If you can see here on my hand, you can see the wounds that I was handcuffed. I've got some wounds in the body, but these are the ones that I can only show you. And here is another wound. You can see here. This is to show you that I was handcuffed for 14 days and masked for 14 days. I would like to thank all of you for your prayers during this time, and it was because of your prayers that I was released. Apart from the ransom that I was paid, I would like also to thank Prophet Bushiri for helping us with the 50,000 rands, which at the moment is the help that we have received so far for that. Thank you very much, Prophet. I and my family, as well as the church, we have decided to forgive the kidnappers, and we will not be taking any action in terms of bringing them to justice.
We are excited to announce that our spiritual father, Pastor Hastings Salanje, has been released by the kidnappers last night and was dropped off near a shopping center in Johannesburg. He will make an official statement later this evening at 7:30 p.m. South African time. We would like to thank everyone who stood with us in prayers and support during this time. Reads the statement. Salanje was kidnapped after church service in Randburg, and sources say gunmen who were disguised as police officers found him in a meeting with some church elders. That is very, very interesting. So just a couple of things about the video. We'll talk about that in a second. But Salanje is known for his flamboyant lifestyle, especially fancy motorcades. I mean, he does have these really, really fancy cars. When he travels in a motorcade, it could be like all black or all white, Mercedes-Benz or BMWs, personalized number plates. It is just a show when he travels around, and then he shows his mansions. This is on his Facebook, whenever he has a chance. He's not a man who is afraid to show his money or his worth. But that is the sort of hallmark of these charismatic pastors these days, isn't it? In 2023, this was not the case when we grew up in the 80s, and 90s. We didn't see this kind of show of worth by charismatic pastors. But this seems to be the identity of the modern day charismatic church, the more flamboyant you are, the more of a showman you are, the bigger your church grows, which is very peculiar. I think that's just really accepted these days. It is what it is. That's the church these days. In as far as these charismatic churches are concerned, he's always surrounded by an army of bodyguards. He does this thing of where his car slows down and then a few bodyguards will jump out of their cars and surround his cars. Typically when politicians do that, or presidents, he does that. I mean, Kim Jong-un, the North Korean president, does that very well. He's got these running bodyguards who just run all the way, sometimes for like a kilometer or so, just running at a decent speed. It's quite impressive to see how fit those bodyguards are. If he has an army of bodyguards, where were they when they actually kidnapped him? So are these bodyguards, are these men who surround this car just for show, or they know how to do their work? Because if they're good at their job, he should not be kidnapped in the first place, given that he has an army of bodyguards. That is very strange there. So he was trending a few years back because of his work in Malawi, and people were taking photos of their car or whatever and say Salanji as a way of showing off their money. He says he was kept without food for nearly 2 weeks and he was handcuffed. He's a heavy-set man, so I don't know whether 2 weeks is enough to see, some people 2 weeks, a week without food, they will drop some pounds. But as I said, he's on the heavier side. So he doesn't look any different from the last time you probably would seen him. But he's been fasting, or actually starved, for 2 weeks, and he still looks the same. He looks remarkably healthy, actually. And he was also handcuffed. He did show some scars. Like, they look a bit oldish sort of scars. Like they've been there for a few days. But he says that he's been in handcuffs the whole time. So I was wondering why your scars appear to be a little bit old than normal. It's just something I noticed. It might be nothing. But he also says he won't be pressing any charges against these people, and he has forgiven them. I don't know whether you can just do that. Well, I guess you can if you do not want to carry on with it. You can just drop charges and you're not forced to carry on. But the police are still obliged to investigate the case, and if they have enough evidence, they will go on prosecute without you being there, because it's a crime that's been committed. It's like a deterrent, isn't it? Because if everyone says, okay, I'm not gonna be pressing charges or whatever, I'm just gonna let it go, I don't think we'll have law and order in this world. It just is what works. You just can't let these things go. And also, Pastor Bushiri, or Prophet Bushiri, appears on the list as a contributor of 50,000 rand towards his release. He was kept in there for a while because they were struggling to raise a huge ransom. They demanded 20 million rands. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's equates to about 2 billion kwachas. That's a lot. I don't think they got the whole money, but we are glad that the money is out. I don't think that we'll be hearing any more about this case, because he's not keen to press any charges, and I don't think the police in South Africa will care too much if he doesn't want to press charges. So that's it. I think everyone will just move on. It will just be like a footnote on the history pages of Salanje. Let's move to Zambia. Yo Maps, the musician in hot water. 2 months ago, Yo Maps, the hit maker from Zambia, posted pictures of his recently purchased Land Cruiser VX on Facebook, which promptly caused rumor mills to start speculating, because it's a very expensive car. The speculation was like, oh my God, have you seen this car? It's nice. The Kulima Tower building, where the men and women of the anti-corruption ACC work, they also saw it, I guess, and they were drawn to this large, nice black car. In addition to Yo Maps followers, they say, okay, what's going on here? So according to the sources close to the anti-graft organization, Yo Maps is unable to sell his car, even if he so chooses, because of restrictions imposed by the commission. The reports claim that the car is thought to be a moving criminal possession. So yeah, they went to him and said, okay, you can't do anything with this car. Obviously, if you're under investigation, you're not allowed to sell the car or whatsoever. for obvious reasons. The Land Cruiser VX is alleged to have been given to this Somali hit maker by a politically exposed individual who is attempting to hide their illicit money. So that song, is it, what do we call it? Do we call it Somali? I should know this, but he sang this song with Ty Green from Malawi, and it's a big hit as well in Malawi. According to the source, the musician, whose real name is Elton Molenga, appeared before the Anti-Corruption Commission at SEC yesterday with his wife in tow. His wife is Kidist, sort of a famous personality as well. The purpose of the questioning was to find out where the money for the opulent car came from. Why did they need to find out? I mean, the guy is a musician. According to the source, the commission doesn't think that the artist makes enough money from his music career and performances to buy a fancy car. That's a bit presumptuous. Your Maps, on the other hand, dismissed the problem with a joke, claiming he was earning enough money to buy the car. Your Maps said that he was able to construct a house, a mansion, 10 times the cost of the car with the money he made from the music sales. I would imagine you were talking in the region of $700 nearly $1 million, because that car is expensive, like 10 times that car. So he claimed that he was unaware that the commission was looking into him, and that in reality he intended to purchase a white Land Cruiser, which was identical. I'm assuming that would be for his wife. I'll have a black one and you get the white one. I think he can afford it. I know it is very expensive, but from what I've seen, he appears to earn good money. His concerts are well patronized. He sells records. He's a hard worker. So I don't see why they should question him as to say that, you know, he can't afford. If maybe there is some sort of a criminal element, I guess it is fair enough that you get investigated, but to think that he can't afford, I don't think so. I think musicians in Africa these days are earning a lot of money. The gold standard are obviously the Nigerian musicians such as Burna Boy, David or Arya Star, Rema, but those are mega stars these days. They are international superstars and they earn a lot of money. But even if you go to Tanzania, we have Diamond Platnumz. He seemed to be roaring in it as well. I saw him in a private jet. I don't know whether he's bought a private jet or he travels around in a private jet, but the guy's got money. So it is not a stretch to say that the musician could afford a Land Cruiser VX. I think he will be okay. I think they'll find that he should be good. And I'll see you in my next video, but leave a comment and do not forget to subscribe to African Boss to create this community. Support us on this channel. We appreciate it. I will see you in my next video.